I needed some sunshine in my life today. Welcome, Facebook family. We are here for another fabulous conversation. I am extremely honored to have the talented and beautiful Tina Lifford here with us. She is best known for her leading role as a single mother, Joan Mosley, in a critically acclaimed but short-lived Fox comedy drama series South Central. She's also been on Parenthood. She's worked in such feature films as Grand Canyon, Bloodwork, and Hostage. And of course, now we have her in the Oprah Winfrey Network drama series Queen Sugar. And I wasn't amazed, but I was like really thrilled. Like when I posted that I was going to talk to you, how many people were like, "Oh yeah, we got to tune in. Oh yeah, that's my girl." So how exciting is that for you?
Well, it is exciting. I've been doing this for 30 years, and it's wonderful that Violet has given me the opportunity to experience how often people have been watching my career. That's very nice, and it's really wonderful to be able to connect with people, connect with so many women and men through Violet. They seem to love her. I think that she is a point of reference and familiarity that is culturally satisfying and known. So it's an honor, quite honestly.
Yeah, you're putting cougars on the map. That's always.
I love that joke, but I do think it's important to make a distinction between cougars, as we understand it, and Violet and Hollywood.
Let's make that distinction then. I would love to have that conversation. Okay. So let's tell us what the distinction is for you.
So the distinction is that Violet happens to have met this man who happens to be 20 years younger than her. She didn't go looking for that. I can't say that that's her preference, but she met her soulmate, and he happened to be 20 years younger. And this is a sincere relationship that isn't connected to age. It's connected to something beyond the both of them.
So for this relationship, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. For this relationship, it is not the stereotypical older woman maybe preying on a less experienced younger man.
Yeah. He just happens to be younger.
And he happens to be sexy and all that kind of stuff. So we just roll with it.
He happens to be the perfect package.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about how this role came about for you. What was the process for landing this role?
Well, that question is really a perfect segue from talking about the fact that Hollywood is the perfect package, because Tina Lifford got the audition, and I was supposed to go to Warner Brothers on a Saturday, which is unusual. They don't usually audition on Saturday, but I guess for whatever the reason, the casting of this role had come down to the wire. I was one of the last people they saw. They started casting for this role back in November, and it's now February, and I'm going in for the first time. And I'm supposed to have a chemistry read opposite Omar, and I don't know Omar, so I'm sitting in this room waiting for him, and I look up and I see this chocolate drop lumbering down the hallway, and I said out loud to myself, "Oh, this will be easy."
So you felt an instant chemistry?
Well, I mean, the man is fine. No matter how you slice it, the man is fine. I mean, he's that deep chocolate. He's bald headed. He's got that very white voice. Come on.
I'm with you. But in speaking of that, what do you do when there isn't an instant chemistry? I mean, you're an actor, so obviously you probably pull from somewhere. What do you do?
when there is not an instant chemistry, well then that's when technique is important. You know, when acting classes and a career of playing roles honestly and believably, that comes in handy. But when it came to Omar, I actually asked him before we started reading together. I said, "Do you mind if I touch your head?" Because I just love bald heads, and I think that they're sexy. And I felt that if I could touch his head during the audition, that was being taped, it would communicate something. And before that audition was over, I was touching his head. Listen, he was rubbing my feet, and I was getting texts in when I could. So when that audition was over, I am told that he called Ava and said, "Ava, I think we found her." And Ava said, "Really?" Yeah, Ava said, "Really?" And then Ava said, "Well, let me watch the chemistry tape." And then both Ava and Oprah watched the chemistry read, and they agreed that there was something undeniable there.
I love it. I love it. Now, and I've read a lot, just kind of getting more familiar with you and who you are and how you show up. And from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I understand, this really was not supposed to be a dominant role on the show. Because people are really saying you've kind of taken this and grown it and showed up in a way that you cannot be ignored.
Well, I don't know. I can't say what was in Ava and Oprah's minds. Right. I will say this. I will say that the show was conceived around the three siblings. And I will say that, as Oprah is starring on Greenleaf, she was slated, I am told, to do the Aunt Violet role. But Queen Sugar wasn't ready. And so she went on to Greenleaf for whatever those reasons were. I like to say those were God reasons because I'm supposed to be here. I just really know that I'm supposed to be here for many, many reasons, some that have nothing to do with acting. And I don't think, Oprah is a winner, and Oprah loves excellence, and she certainly saw that Queen Sugar had great potential. I don't know if anyone saw all in Violet that I saw in Violet. I don't know. But when I got not just my sides, but as we started to work, just the richness of who she is actually jumped inside of me. There were times that I would go to say a line and Violet would take over. Mm-hmm. And so it's been this journey of Tina Lifford, hanging out with this spirit called Violet and us sort of working together in this.
And I like the word richness. I think that there's just a lot of richness in this in general. I'm not sure where this is coming from, but I'm not sure. There's just a lot of richness in general with there being so many women in the cast, Ava DuVernay and Oprah at the helm, then also behind the scenes, just so many women. What do you say about that and working on a set where there's so many powerful women that are a part of this project?
I feel that it is groundbreaking and exciting because we are, without doubt, doing a show that probably would never have been greenlit if it weren't for Oprah being in the position that she's in. Right. And if it weren't for her sensibility as a storyteller and as a woman, she might not have chosen Queen Sugar. And then certainly Ava DuVernay's beautiful way of telling a story cinematically is not what you see on most, network shows right this moment. So I'm not sure who would have greenlit her rather melodious and sometimes thoughtful, meaning slow and letting moments breathe. I don't know what network other than OWN would have said, yes, we're going to make this a series and have, millions of people leaning in without one car chase.
I know I was watching Ava leading into this. I think she said, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where this is going to go. But she was excited. And so was the entire cast surprised at how well Sugar was received?
I think we all, I don't know that surprise is the accurate term. But it was something that revealed itself, it mounted its appeal, and its possibility just kept mounting with every episode.
I think it's fascinating. Do you hear the audio, or is it just me?
I'm having a challenge with the audio. It seems to be breaking up.
Yeah, and there seems some feedback, but I can't figure out where it's coming from. So I apologize for that. But I think that, and it's interesting because I've known Ava for so long, just in what I've done, as a career. And I remember when she was first introduced, and and she was so exciting, and she was such a genuine spirit. And to see where she is now, I think it's just like to be able to have seen her grow through this entire process. I think it's the most amazing thing ever. And it was the same with Shonda Rhimes. What do you think is going to be next for the industry, and especially for African-American actresses and actors?
I can't guess about that,
Yes, Tina.
I can't guess about where the industry is going. We certainly have experienced sort of cyclical cycles before. But I can say that storytelling and trusting the power in the human condition and the power in a simple human story, that Ava and Oprah have proven that people lean into that. Now, actually, I did a series. I was a recurring role character for a while on Parenthood. And one of the things that was beautiful about Parenthood is that it was a family drama, and it was people talking about real things. I think that what's super exciting about Queen Sugar is that it's a family drama about an African American family, but again, touching on all the elements that unify us in terms of humanity. And
touching on it, I think that's moving away from the stereotypical, I guess, roles for African Americans has been such a big transition and an important one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, almost every character on Queen Sugar is not all groundbreaking, but certainly these are not characters that have been rendered this way often on television. I mean, I don't think you've actually seen Aunt Vi ever. I'm not sure, but that archetype that lives in our community, and not just our community, in every community. I have a Korean girlfriend who relates to Aunt Vi. I have a white girlfriend who relates to Aunt Vi. So that Aunt Vi archetype, I think Ava has brought that to the television screen in a way that hasn't been done before. And then, and the same thing with Ralph Angel. Of course, we've seen many Black men incarcerated, but we haven't actually had this inside heartfelt journey of what it's like to come out of prison and have that stigma and have to work your way through the challenges of that stigma and find your way on a path to some level of success. We haven't seen that story.
Right. No, it's very honest, and as you said, I mean, you relate. You know somebody in your family or your friend's family, neighbor down the street. You know people that are like that and have that kind of spirit. So I think it's great. Are there going to be any surprises?
Lots
in season 2 of Queen. Tell us one. What one do we look forward to?
Well, I think that we just now last night aired the second episode, and just between the 2 episodes, I'm assuming that the way Micah is showing up this season is a surprise. You know, he was a preppy, rich kid in season 1, and in season 2, he is experiencing what it means to be driving while Black. And
that was a powerful moment.
Wasn't that? It was really powerful, and it was unexpected. I wasn't expecting it. I definitely know that you're going to experience some surprises where Vi is concerned. Vi, independent of Hollywood, and there is definitely, put it like this, if you tuned in to the premiere show, you know that Vi is longing to have a conversation with Hollywood. They are longing to connect and talk to one another. And so that journey will be interesting. And Charlie she has gone full force. She's on a mission to transform the balance of power between the Black farmers, and the Landry family. So she's opening this mill, and that just seems like a really rich storyline that will be full of surprises for all of us.
That is awesome. I have a lot of questions about becoming an actor or an actress. Can you share any tips around that?
The process of becoming an actor or an actress. Okay, yes. Number 1, seriously, is it takes deep desire and passion, and I say that if you passionately want to do something, then that means you are willing to sacrifice the time, the money, the frustrations of developing a level of expertise at what you want to do, because it takes more than just, a notion. The acting part is one thing, but then being able to work with yourself, and overcome the parts of yourself that get in the way of your being able to stand in the dream that you say you want. All of that takes work. So go do that work, and go to a class and find out what it means to be a professional, and then set a really clear intention for yourself in terms of what kind of actor you want to be. How do you want to be seen? How do you want to be respected? What are people saying when they say your name? Stuff like that.
Stuff like that. Now, I know that you do a lot of work, not just in the acting arena, but you have some other things that you are really, really passionate about. Tell me more about inner fitness. What does that mean?
Yeah. Well, inner fitness is the inverse of physical fitness. We absolutely know the importance of physical fitness, and we know that if we want to take charge of our health, the starting point is diet exercise, right? So what is the starting point when you want to take charge of your internal life, where you have experienced yourself being more unhappy than happy? You've experienced yourself feeling in this state of confusion. You have old hurts, dramas, traumas, upsets, and disappointments that get triggered and take you off course. Where do you begin to sort that stuff out so that you can stand fully in your power? That's the inner fitness journey. And there are all kinds of ways that we can approach that. But first and foremost, we must know that we must invest time in that direction in the same way that we would invest time in, in our physical health, or getting thin, or getting strong physically.
I'm just curious, was there a certain incident for you that kind of triggered this journey? Did something happen that really made you focus on that?
Yeah, I would say two things. Number one, I am an old soul. So I came here, my parents would call me this little woman in this little girl's body. So I came here. I used to literally walk to school back when, parents could let their kids walk to school in the second grade or third grade. But I would walk to school hugging one side of the sidewalk so that my invisible friend, who is God, could walk with me, and be in conversations with this force, this feeling that I had that I wasn't by myself, right? Mm-hmm. And then in the fifth grade, prior to the fifth grade, I experienced myself as being good at everything. I mean, I was just a really talented and, some people might have called me precocious, but then I had a stage fright experience in the fifth grade where I stepped onto the stage to sing Old Man River.
Oh, wow.
And I literally froze. And when I tell you that I froze, I didn't just, get shy and stumble. I literally froze. My body stiffened up. I could not utter one word. And they literally had to come to the center of the stage, pick me up, and carry me like a little cardboard, off the stage. And acting is the only thing I've ever wanted to do. And periodically, without warning, that old experience would get triggered. And what I know now is that when we have dramatic or traumatic experiences take place, they encode themselves in our nervous system. And then you can actually experience something and not be aware that whatever that thing is directly connected to that old memory. And it can trigger all of the emotions and insecurity, etc., that is tied to that old experience. And so we all are just a bundle of repeated patterns.
Right.
We all are just walking around thinking that we're living our lives at choice, but more often than not, we are reacting out of some old unconscious pattern. And that's everyone.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But what's exciting and what, has me talking about inner fitness just nonstop is that neuroscience is teaching us that one of the things we can absolutely trust is that the brain is always changing. Mm-hmm. So we actually have the power to rewire any experience. Now, you have to learn what to do, right. But no, to all of your listeners and viewers, know that if in fact there is something that has taken place in your life, and it could be a tiny little thing that just got wired in a weird way inside of you, and that you have been consistently overwhelmed by this thing and not been able to truly change it once and for all, that thing is changeable. It will take a certain kind of work, but you can change it. The brain is positioned to support you in making those changes. That's exciting.
Exactly. Yeah, it's exciting and it's fascinating. So for people that want to learn more about your inner fitness and this journey, how can they get more information?
Well, it just so happens, and this is a coincidence, because on this Saturday, June 24th at 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 11 a.m. Eastern, I'm going to do my first ever Inner Fitness conference call. So many people who are interested in jumping on to this free call, you can do that, and you'll get a lot of information about yourself and the power, your innate power and ability to begin to start paying attention to your inner fitness and taking charge. And to get the information for that free call this Saturday, you can just go to my Instagram page, and it's there in a post. The phone number, the call-in phone number is there, and the pin that you'll need is there. And there's a video that'll tell you a little bit more about the call. And my
your Instagram is just Tina Lifford, right?
At Tina Lifford.
And I put up Twitter, so make sure that you're following Tina on Twitter too. And so now there's her Instagram so that you can follow. And I will be on the call. I am fascinated by this stuff. I just read a book about clearing beliefs, and it kind of sounds like the same thing. And so I'm really interested to get more information on inner fitness and how we can join. How can we get more information on watching Queen Sugar? Can we just go to owntv.com?
There's a couple of things that you can do. Number one is you can go to Amazon and purchase season 1. If you haven't seen season 1, you want to see it, and you want to watch it from the beginning all the way through, binge watch it, for 13 episodes. Of course, we air every Wednesday night on OWN at 10 o'clock, both Eastern and Pacific, 9 o'clock Central. And you can find us on Hulu. You can go to Hulu.
Oh, okay, good.
If you don't have OWN, I think, the subscription for Hulu is something like $7 or something like that. So you can experience the show through Hulu as well.
Great. I know you are super busy. You have been doing interviews for 3 days straight, and I know you have some set time that you have to take care of today. So I just want to thank you. I am really appreciative of you taking the time out to talk to us, and I am glad we got a closer look, not only at Aunt Vi, but also at Tina Lifford. It has been a pleasure.
Well, thank you, Nikki. I've had a good time. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in. I love this. Don't you just love the internet and all of the technology that just keeps, making our lives easier to connect. They
make the world smaller. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will see you on TV, and we will listen to you on the call. And I'm really proud of you, and I'm excited for you. And like I said, I just appreciate your time today.
Oh, thank you so much, Nikki.
Thank you. Bye,
family. Bye, everybody.